Shalom, shalom from Jerusalem. We're here in this war against Hamas still, and we're fighting several fronts in Gaza, in Lebanon, through Syria, through the territories, through Yemen, um, and it keeps getting worse and worse every single time. And we had a few days ago there was an attack in the Iranian embassy in Syria, and it looks like it was Israel. Israel hasn't said that it's them, but Iran is accusing Israel of this attack, where several of their Iranian people leaders were killed, and so Iran has um, has said that they were going to attack Israel in some way or another as a response of this attack against their embassy in Syria. And so there's possibilities of Iranian attacks. And so Israel is in alert. And so one of the possibilities would be that Iran would attack Israel through missiles, drones, rockets, through one of their militia groups, one of their proxies, terrorist proxies in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq, or Yemen. As you know, Iran supports all these terrorist groups in these countries. Another possibility is a direct attack with a ballistic missile directly into Israel, which these ballistic missiles can travel distances of over 1,000 kilometers. And another way of attacking would be through infiltrations, terrorist infiltrations, whether it's through Gaza, through I don't know if it would be through Gaza because Gaza is pretty much under control, but whether it's through Lebanon, Syria, through Jordan, through Egypt. And so Israel's under alert. Their embassies are under alert all over the world, wherever they have embassies. And in fact, some embassies are being evacuated taking precautions. They were taking precautions because you never know what could happen in some of these embassies. Because I mean, in this case, this embassy was destroyed. So just in case they decide to destroy one of the embassies around the Israeli embassies around the world. So all the personnel, military personnel, their vacations have been canceled. But I'm not talking about the military that is not in the army right now, because there are reservists that had been called, but they've gone home, so they're not part of this. And excuse me. So Israel has airplanes, fighter jets, ready for any possibility. Excuse me, it's really late over here. And so Netanyahu has said that, he said for years, let this car go by, he said for years Iran has been working against us, both directly and through its emissaries, and therefore Israel has been working against Iran and its emissaries, both defensively and offensively. We will know how to defend ourselves, and we will act according to the simple principle that whoever hurts us or plans to hurt us, we will hurt them. So that's the alert. So please pray for us. This is Israel under alert. And let's see. And so Gaza, we continue to fight the war in Gaza. For the past 2 weeks, Israel has been fighting inside. They had to go back to Al-Shifa hospital inside Gaza because several Hamas terrorists had taken the hospital over again. And they had taken it as a center to carry out terrorist attacks against Israel. And so Israel has arrested more than 500 terrorists and destroyed over 1,000 tunnels in Gaza. And I wanted to mention that, we talk, you hear a lot about, I'm sure you hear a lot about humanitarian aid. And I was there a couple weeks ago at the Keren Shalom border crossing, where I witnessed hundreds of several trucks going in and out endlessly with humanitarian aid into Gaza. So I know that it's going in, and but the world keeps saying that Israel is not sending enough humanitarian trucks, or they're not sending enough humanitarian aid into Gaza. The problem is what happens once it crosses into Gaza, once it goes inside Gaza. As you might have seen some of these videos where some of these terrorist people that are part of the terrorist group, either Islamic Jihad or Hamas, taking over these trucks with machine guns. They get on top of the truck and they fire at the people that need this. And so a lot of this aid doesn't get to the people that really need it. I was looking, I was making a little study, and 300, from what I found out, 384,000 tons have gone into Gaza with humanitarian aid. Out of that, 20,500 trucks have gone inside with this humanitarian aid. So, and that includes water, includes food, includes medical supplies, and other things. So it's hard for me to understand or believe, or it's hard for me to understand how people can keep saying that Israel's not letting humanitarian aid in. As I've witnessed this myself, and I've seen videos inside of all these trucks going deep inside Gaza, full of humanitarian aid. So I also was making a little study, and it looks like they say that about 250,000 or more or less tons of humanitarian aid is good for 54 weeks. So if 384,000 tons have gone in, it's going to be enough, more than enough. And you got to also remember that Ramadan, the Arabs don't eat during the day, the Muslims don't, and at night that's when they eat. So starving, I'm sure there's people that are starving inside Gaza. There's people starving in other countries in the world as well. But Israel is letting a lot of humanitarian inside. And so we keep also fighting. We're fighting the front with Lebanon, and Lebanon has been sending missiles, hundreds of missiles into Israel, and several people have died from these attacks. And so Israel has been, attacking in return. And the people that are caught in the middle are the Christians inside Lebanon who don't want to be a part of this conflict. One of our friends that was doing reports in Lebanon, he interviewed a farmer in Lebanon, and he was saying that his land, a lot of his land, that some of these Hezbollah terrorists are coming to his land and launching missiles from his land, and which he's not, because of this, he's not able to go down to a lot of his land because it's dangerous. If Israel decides to retaliate and attack the points where these missiles are coming out of, then he could be killed. So the ones that are caught in the middle are the Christians in Lebanon. And as a result, then, the embassies from different countries that are in Lebanon have already been instructing people in their civilian or the people from these countries on how to evacuate in case of a need to evacuate Lebanon. And so then we also see that with all this things going on, Israel made a mistake and killed 7 volunteer workers of the YCK, the World Chef Kitchen, and they killed 7 people. It was a mistake, and people are condemning Israel like crazy, and which is understandable. Israel makes mistakes. Israel's not a perfect nation, and this is war. But I don't understand how, when we have terrorists almost on a daily basis. Lately, we had a terrorist attack today. We had a terrorist attack a couple of days ago in Beersheba. Another attack in I think it was in Tel Aviv, and we've had some attacks here in Lebanon, in Jerusalem, and I don't see anybody condemning these terrorist attacks. These terrorist attacks are against civilians that are just waiting for the bus or just walking around, or eating, and I don't see any condemnation against these attacks, and we keep getting rockets on a daily basis up in the north, around Gaza still, and I don't see anybody condemning these attacks, and I don't see anybody condemning. The UN has not even condemned Hamas for its massacre that it did in October 7th. So it seems like for the world, Jewish lives is not very important. Biden keeps pressuring Netanyahu for a ceasefire, which would mean a total defeat for Israel and a victory for Hamas. The goal for Israel is to defeat Hamas completely from Gaza, so that they have to go into Rafah. And so we have pressure from the United States for Israel to not to go into Rafah, but Netanyahu has said that they will go into Rafah with or without the support from Israel. And I hear a lot that people tell me, well, we don't depend on the United States, we should depend on God. Yes, that's true, but in this case, the reason why Israel needs the support, would like the support from the United States, is because the United States is the one that supplies Israel with all these weapons. So when the United States gives them all these weapons, then there's conditions on how to use them. And in this case, they're saying, if you go into Rafah, we're not going to support you. And so Israel has to figure out how to do it without the support from the United States. And so please pray for all this stuff that's going on. And Netanyahu hasn't given in to the pressure from the United States. We have another little war that's going on with Benny Gantz. He's in the unity government with Bibi Netanyahu, but in the backside, without anybody knowing. Well, now we know though, is that Benny Gantz is working with the Biden administration on trying to get rid of Bibi Netanyahu from the government. They're trying to bring down the Netanyahu government, and is calling for elections. The United States is also calling for elections as if this was a puppet nation. This is an independent country. The people have elected Bibi Netanyahu, and we will decide when we will have elections. Right now, the majority of the people support Netanyahu on the fact that we have to go into Rafah to destroy the terrorist group Hamas. I would appreciate your prayers. We appreciate your prayers here in Israel. God bless you. Shalom, shalom from Jerusalem.